Hello, it's Chris Munch here and welcome to this video. Up on screen you can see some traffic statistics. I'll be getting to those in just a moment. So what this video is going to be about is pillar content and rapid pillar content. I'll be explaining exactly what pillar content is, and I'm going to show you the power of this, why it goes viral, how it really drives so much traffic, and how you can use it to get subscribers and sales. And most importantly, you don't even need to make this content yourself or go out and buy this content. You can actually get this content for free in 60 seconds or less. If you produce this content yourself, if you can do that, then that's brilliant. That's even better. But what's important is you can get this content very, very quickly, make use of it, and get results. And so in this, I'm going to be proving to you just how extremely effective this pillar content is, and that it's really an integral part of almost every successful online business. Whether they know that or not, that is what's happening. And it doesn't really matter whether you focus on free traffic or on paid traffic. This works in any of those situations. So I'll also be showing you how HookPages software, which is my creation, and the method that goes along with it to use this viral pillar content both reduces the effort involved dramatically and really maximizes results. Okay, so that's what this video is about. This is what I'm going to show you. This is the first video in the series. Okay, so what you see here with these stats up on screen, this is actually my blog network. So I started out a few years back actually as a blogger for a very, very large blog network, and I saw what they were doing. I saw how they used pillar content, and I decided I'm going to do the same as what they do, and I went off and did that, and I started building these blogs, and you can see that they're all getting traffic here. Now, I used to be running this, and it would bring in lots and lots of visitors, and I'll just show you now in the past 180 days the traffic which has come through here. Okay, so you can see just in the past 6 months, almost 500,000 visitors, so almost 500,000 visitors in the past 6 months. What's interesting with this is that I do absolutely nothing with any of these sites. I've done nothing with them for around 2 years at the time of recording this video. And the reason why this happens is because of pillar content. The reason these blogs were successful, the reason why they grew, and the reason why they continue to get traffic even while I'm not doing anything. Obviously, if I worked on them, they'd get more traffic. But the most important thing is here, I do nothing, they get traffic. There's ads on the site, there's affiliate links and all that. And it just keeps on working and keeps on rolling. And that wouldn't have happened without using pillar content. Okay, so pillar content back then and now is very, very much the crux of my business. And so why is that? It's because it grabs attention. And that's what the internet really is all about, all this traffic which you see here. And I also run a software business. That's my main focus right now. And in my software business as well, if I was to show you, if I go ahead and show you the traffic from the past 180 days, you can see this is also getting a lot of traffic. So this traffic is even more high value because it's to do with software, and I'm getting 350,000 visitors in the past 6 months. So this is incredibly powerful stuff, and pillar content is the center of this. And the reason why is because it grabs attention. The internet is all about grabbing attention. There's ads here, there's headlines there's blog articles, there's all this discussion on Facebook and social media. Everything is really a fight for attention, and pillar content is very much centered around that. So it doesn't really matter whether you're selling t-shirts online or an ebook, or you're an affiliate, or you're marketing locally. This stuff really works. In fact, if you've had any success, you'll have been using some of these attention marketing techniques in some form or another. So often people, and maybe you do this, might be using some of these techniques and some of these methods in isolated situations. So for example, some people are selling t-shirts, or they're doing these limited t-shirt campaigns, they're doing maybe paid traffic, or they're doing JV recruitment. Whatever it is they're doing, in some form or another, they're doing some of these pillar content hooks, or these attention marketing hooks, which I'll be talking a little bit more through the series. And the thing is, they're doing it in just a very, very limited, isolated environment and probably not really aware exactly of what they're doing. And you can actually expand this and see a much, much bigger opportunity. And actually, there's some really, really big shortcuts. A lot of people are out there making content themselves. It takes a lot of time. There are a lot of ways where you don't need to do that, and you can just make this content or get this content produced or use this content for free and be able to get it very, very, very quickly. And the quickest method, which I'll show you in this series, is being able to get the content in 60 seconds or less. Okay, so let's dig in. So the results here then, which you see from this blog network, these happened because we produced pillar content. It brought in lots of attention, then Google loved it and it ranked really high, and so it just keeps on getting traffic because Google likes it, because it's got a lot of attention, got lots of social proof and links and all things like that. So Google likes all these sites, and so even 2 years later, even though there's not too much going on these sites now, very, very few of them even have active writers. I think only one has an active writer, and the guy, you know, he just sends me an invoice from PayPal that gets paid, and that's it. And so I'm literally doing nothing other than paying someone each month to write a content on just, I think, one of these sites. And there's about, you can see there it says that there's 6 total sites in here. So all this time, it just keeps bringing in traffic, and it's because of the pillar content. And again here, with what's going on with my software business, it's the same thing. I'm using these kind of attention marketing techniques, this pillar content, to grab people's attention. So let's dig into a couple of case studies then. So first of all, let's take a look at one of my sites, which is Muncheye. So this is a site which is essentially a calendar for upcoming marketing products which are being sold. And so when I started this site, nobody knew it. There was already a calendar which had been popular for, like, I don't know, like 5 years or more. It was very, very popular. It was the brand in that space. And literally within a matter of months, this became the most comprehensive and #1 calendar. And the thing which actually put it in the #1 place was using a piece of pillar content. And you can see the traffic kind of stalled here as we went along, and it was, you know, just trickling along, kind of staying steady. Then we released the pillar content, and it then went viral. A bunch of people saw it, and the traffic then continued to rise. It raised the awareness of the site. More and more people began to use it. In fact, our advertising revenue just within a matter of weeks doubled, and it stayed doubled, and it's just been increasing pretty much ever since. And the traffic as well went from kind of, you know, around here where it's just tapering under 500 visitors during a week to now it's around 1,000 visitors per week. So this is very, very, very powerful in what this did. So I'll show you this piece of content now. So this is content which was produced myself, but we did it very, very simply, just by taking some stats from the site. Now, this is an example of how you can do it where you produce your own content. So we did produce our own content, worked very, very, very well. You can see it's been shared a lot, posted on Pinterest, tweeted, and all this good stuff. And so pretty much anyone who was in this space, who was launching a product, found out about the site through this. And so it was really, really powerful for that reason. And so another example, taken into a broader niche, we did a little case study in the healthy eating niche. So that's the stats up on screen. I'll just show you the page. So you can see here, again, we've got a piece of content. I made this myself. I just, you know, did this in Paint, got some images and put them together. So again, you can see how this really worked. And you'll notice something about the landing pages. This is using the Hook Pages software for the landing page. It works really, really effectively for getting attention to this piece of content because it drives people to share. So there's all sorts of things going on with this, and I'll dig into this software through the series and just show you really how powerful it is. And you can see that there's lots of little things going on this page, but on the whole, it's very, very, very clean. And you'll probably notice that getting this content to be shared is one of the key things here. So it's really, really cool for that purpose. Okay, so like I say, you can create the content yourself, or I'll show you in the next video how you can just grab content like this and be able to use it on your own sites for a very, very similar effect. Okay, so the big question is then, what exactly is pillar content? And if I jump to some authority sites which discuss this sort of thing, you'll see, it comes under different names. Some people call it cornerstone content. Some people say it's a pillar article. And so there's lots of different names. Some people call it link bait, and so there's link bait ideas here. But the interesting thing is when you go and if you've ever gone and looked into this and what people say, it's all kind of vague. Some people call it flagship content as well. So it's something that is a basic, essential, indispensable, and chief foundation of which something is constructed or developed. These things are kind of hard to interpret, and it doesn't really jump in. Then you've got some things about keywords and title tags and headlines. Then the content itself, can a 500-word article rank well? The definitions which you get as you go out here, they're kind of quite tricky in what they're really saying and what they really mean here. It says write at least 5 major pillar articles. A pillar article is usually a tutorial style article aimed to teach your audience something. So everyone has their own definition, and it doesn't really help anyone kind of be able to jump in it and start doing this. So you've got some examples here. It says pillar content. Most topics have topics in them that could function as a pillar type article for your blog. That in itself is a little bit confusing. So, there's lots and lots of good advice in these posts when you go and look at these. So there is lots of good things in here. It's just that there's so many different opinions, and it's kind of not really being honed down exactly what this type of content is. It comes under different names like link bait, but essentially it all comes under the same roof of a piece of content that grabs a lot of attention. Someone here has come up with all these ideas of how you can maybe produce a piece of content, but again, this kind of doesn't work properly so well. If you follow this post, I think take one thing in one column and match it up with the other. But again, this is kind of a bit overwhelming and confusing. So you've got say you take memes and then you match it up with something up here, say badges and widget. What does that really mean? What are you supposed to do? So it gets quite complicated. But the fact is, all this talk has kind of confused the situation when it's very, very, very simple on what it is to do. And essentially, it's just a piece of content that grabs attention. So it could be an infographic like you see here. So these are infographics which you see. So infographics are great examples. There's all sorts of different types of content. Could be a video, could be an article or something else. Now, the way in which to make these pieces of content yourself, there's lots of different ways to do it. Some people have said, oh, you can't ever show anyone how to do this because it requires so much creativity. But the fact is that it's a process like anything, and you can put some things together and produce some really, really brilliant content if you so choose, but you don't even need to, because this can actually be done in 60 seconds or less, where you get a piece of content, something just like this, or just like this, and you can use it within your business to get the exact same effect. And so I'm going to be showing you that in the next video. But the question is, why would you do that? What's the benefit? Well, I've shown you some of the results, but let's take a look at what some of the benefits are here of what you can do. So the benefits of pillar content. Okay, so it actually has a lot more benefits than you might first realize. And the thing is, when you're producing a piece of content that gets attention, people are very likely to link to it. So you get links, you get shares, and you get conversation. If people are sharing it, they're typically talking about it. And most importantly, you get engagement. Okay, so these 4 things are going on, and this also then leads to obviously traffic. If people are sharing it, if they're linking to it, if they're talking about it, then it's going to get traffic. So all of these things here are driving you more traffic, and all of these together are driving you higher rankings in Google. So if the content is published online, you're getting lots of links, shares, there's conversation, there's engagement. These are all things which Google looks for, so you're also getting higher rankings. And on top of that, it's actually very, very important for making sales, for getting opt-ins and things like that. Because if you think about it, you can't really get someone to opt in to a piece of content. You can't really get someone to buy a product if they're not engaged. So the engagement is very, very important. And if you're not getting traffic, then you're not going to get any opt-ins or sales as well. So it's working on many, many different levels. You've got traffic coming in, you've got engagement, so it's keeping people interested. And that's why you can use this to drive sales, to get subscribers. You know, you could send them off to an affiliate link. You could be selling t-shirts, you know, whatever it is you're doing. Maybe it's just advertising revenue, but it works for all of this stuff. And if you think about it, how often do you really just land on a page or a website and then suddenly just buy something? I mean, that almost never happens. In fact, it probably never happens. You're much more likely to sign up to a list, to join a list, or to buy a product when you've actually just been through some content from a site, you know, whether it was a video, whether it was an infographic, whether it was just an article, and you found that interest and you were engaged with it, and it said something which drew you in and got you interested, and then you were much more likely to opt in, then you were much more likely to buy something. Okay, but this is a little bit different from, say, a sales page or a piece of, you know, an opt-in form or something like that, because that's what really comes next after the content. And so people are doing this without really realizing they're doing it. In many cases, they're doing it with paid traffic. You know, they might be doing it on Facebook, but they're not fully aware that they're doing this. And when you begin to realize what you're actually doing and why it's working, then it's so much more powerful. And that's when it makes a lot more money and a lot more profits. And if it hasn't been working, then this is probably the reason why, because it's down to the fact that you're not really engaging, you haven't got a strong piece of content, a strong piece of pillar content, or you're not really grabbing their attention, or a combination of those things. Okay, so there's two real types of pillar content which you can have. So this is broadly speaking, so there's two types. Okay, so one is a resource and the other is entertainment. Okay, so a resource is something which is useful to people, which people might be doing when they're researching something, or a tool which they're using, or something like that. Something that's got some kind of information or use for it. Entertainment is, you know, something that's funny, or, you know, driving a discussion. Maybe, you know, it's not necessarily positive, but it's drawing people in, and it's entertaining them, or killing time in some way for them. So if we take a look at, you know, these two things, this one here, it's got statistics, so that definitely falls within the research category. It has elements of entertainment within this piece, whereas this one here kind of appears to be like a more of a resource article, and it does have elements of that, but it's also really entertaining as well in some of the ways which this has been put together as well. So broadly speaking, they tend to fall in those two categories. And so being able to know which side of the fence, what you're doing, and making sure that you're either entertainment or you're providing a resource, is going to help with the content which you grab from other sources, where you can just grab this and put it on your site very, very quickly. Or if you create the content yourself. And in the next video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can grab content just like this for your own sites, for your own campaigns. And this works extremely well if you're doing paid traffic campaigns. It works if you're doing Facebook ads. It's going to work if you're doing, you know, if you're a blogger, it's going to work. If you're selling something online, it's going to work. It's really the crux of being able to get attention online. And you know, you notice from this sales page, from this landing page here, that it's very, very sleek, that there's not really too much going on. And you might be thinking, well, that seems kind of strange, because, you know, all these other sites, they have so many things going on. So let's just address that for a moment and say, take a look at Craigslist. So Craigslist is the most popular classified ad site, and you'll see that this is a very simple site. You know, there's very, very little graphics. In fact, there's no graphics, and it's just very, very simple. And the reason why that is because the less there is going on, the more you can draw attention to where you want it. So this is a very important part of being able to grab attention online, is to keep things simple so people can find their way around, and you also present them with the exact things which you might want them to do, such as sharing your content. You know, so you'll see this on all sorts of popular sites, they say that ugly is sometimes better online, like an ugly sales page or something like that. What they kind of missed the point on there is it wasn't that it was ugly, it was that it was simple. And that's why these simple, often referred to as ugly sales pages, worked really, really well compared to all these fancy graphical ones. So looking at like another site here, which is very, very popular and gets a lot of viral attention and is essentially filled with lots of really attention grabbing content. You can see this site is very, very simple in what it's doing here. So very, very, very cool. Okay, and then also like with this landing page software which we have, it's the same deal. This is a very, very simple landing page designed to get your attention exactly where you want to. Now you might see a different sort of thing when you go to, say, the Huffington Post or some of these big sites. You'll see something completely different where they've got all sorts of things going on, and there's loads and loads of stuff and loads of links. I mean, if you look at the amount of links on this page and all the different things, it's quite overwhelming where you would go next. Now the reason for that is that these sites aren't like a typical site which is trying to make money. The reason being is that they've got all this stuff going on here, and the reason why they have that is because they want more page views. I'm clicking around here, and every time I'm clicking around, there's all sorts of ads appearing around on the page. There's even one of my ads appearing on this page here. So like all these different links and things like that which are happening is just to get people to keep browsing around the site, because every time someone loads a new page, the ads which show is essentially paying them money. So they're being paid for this ad at the top, and so the more pages you see, the more they make money. So that works well if like you're already very, very established, you've got lots of traffic coming to the site already, and you want to try and filter that out and get people to go to lots of different pages. And especially when you've got repeat visitors and people are able to kind of figure out how the site is structured and become more familiar with that. But typically if you're trying to get attention to, say, a product or an opt-in page or an affiliate link or something, then all this stuff is just going to be a massive distraction. And really, these sites, they might make a lot of money because they've got so much traffic, but per visitor, they rank as, some of the lowest earning websites around. And that's why they're so desperate and why they've got so many links on the page, because they just want to keep you clicking around the page and viewing more ads and viewing more ads and viewing more ads. So that's what is going on in this particular case. And so that's an important difference between a piece of clean content like this, which really grabs attention, draws people in, raises that engagement, gets all the links that would come in and follow from all the shares and things like that, and allows you to draw people in for the next stage, whether you're trying to build subscribers, Facebook fans, or something else. So we'll dig into these case studies a little bit more to see, what exactly they did and how they worked in the upcoming series, and also how you can use this type of content without building it yourself. So that's going to be coming up in the next video. So thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.